You put on a comfortable pair of shoes and start walking. The first few minutes are easy, your breathing is steady, and your legs feel fresh. An hour passes, then 2, then 4. At first, it feels less like a challenge and more like a long stroll, but you keep going. You walk through the afternoon, you walk through the evening. Eventually, the sun disappears below the horizon, and while most people are getting ready for bed, you're still moving. One foot in front of the other, hour after hour. The question here is, what would actually happen if you walked for 24 hours straight without stopping? Well, let's find out. Humans are surprisingly good at walking. In fact, compared to most animals, we are endurance specialists. Long before cars, trains, and airplanes, humans crossed continents on foot. Some anthropologists even believe our ancestors practiced persistence hunting, where they would slowly chase animals over enormous distances until the animal collapsed from exhaustion. Because of this, many people assume the human body can just keep walking indefinitely. However, the truth is a little more complicated. The first surprise is that the opening hours are often the easiest. During the first few hours of continuous movement, blood flow increases, muscles warm up, and your body settles into a rhythm. Walking is an incredibly efficient form of movement. Compared to running, it places relatively little stress on the cardiovascular system, while still allowing you to cover significant distances. For a healthy adult walking at a moderate pace, the first 3 to 4 hours might feel surprisingly normal. In fact, many long-distance hikers report feeling better after the first hour than they did when they started. The body likes rhythm, and walking provides exactly that. But while everything feels fine on the surface, small problems are already beginning to develop. The first enemy isn't your muscles, it's your feet. Every step creates friction. Normally, this isn't a problem, because most people spend portions of their day sitting, standing, or resting. But after several consecutive hours, that friction begins to accumulate. Tiny hotspots develop where the shoe rubs against the skin. Those hotspots gradually become blisters. At the same time, your feet begin to swell. This swelling is so common in endurance events that many long-distance walkers intentionally wear shoes larger than their normal size. As blood flow increases and tissues retain fluid, feet can expand enough to make properly fitting shoes suddenly feel painfully tight. By the 6-hour mark, many people aren't fighting exhaustion, they're fighting their footwear. The body, however, has bigger concerns. Every step requires energy. During the early stages of the walk, much of that energy comes from glycogen, which is essentially stored carbohydrate kept inside your muscles and liver. Glycogen acts like a fuel reserve, providing quick access to energy when your body needs it. As the hours pass, those reserves begin to shrink. Research on prolonged endurance exercise consistently shows significant glycogen depletion as exercise duration increases. Eventually, the body starts relying more heavily on fat stores to keep moving. This transition keeps you going, but it comes at a cost. You begin feeling slower, heavier, and less explosive. But it doesn't end there. Around the 8 to 12-hour mark, a new problem emerges. Your joints start giving way. Muscles are remarkably adaptable, but joints are less forgiving. Your knees have now absorbed tens of thousands of impacts. Your hips have repeated the same movement countless times. Your lower back has spent half a day stabilizing your body. Nothing is technically broken, but everything is beginning to ache. This is one reason military marches and ultra-endurance walking events are so physically demanding. Studies examining long-distance walking and marching have found significant physiological stress despite the relatively low intensity of walking itself. But even this isn't the hardest part. The hardest part arrives when darkness falls. And now your brain wants something more than food. It wants sleep. Humans operate on a circadian rhythm. Whether you like it or not, your brain expects rest at certain times. As nighttime arrives, your biological clock begins demanding sleep. You can ignore it, but you can't stop it. Prolonged exertion combined with sleep deprivation significantly impairs cognitive performance. Reaction time slows and attention decreases while your decision-making ability worsens. This creates an interesting situation. Your legs might still be capable of walking, but your brain may be the thing that's failing first. At around 16 to 18 hours, many people experience what endurance athletes call the low point. Everything becomes harder. Simple calculations take longer, and conversations require some effort. The desire to sit down becomes overwhelming, but if you continue walking, things can become even stranger. Among ultra-endurance athletes, hallucinations are surprisingly common. This sounds impossible at first. Hallucinations are something most people associate with severe mental illness, not exercise. Visual, auditory, and sensory hallucinations have been found to be very common among athletes pushed to their limits, and sleep deprivation appears to be one of the primary triggers. Some athletes report seeing people standing on trails that disappear when approached. Others describe hearing voices. Some experience a strange sensation that another person is walking beside them even though nobody is there. Now, if you're only walking for 24 hours, you may never reach full-blown hallucinations, but you're entering the territory where the brain starts behaving differently, and the closer you get to the finish line, the more your body begins demanding that you stop. By hour 20, almost every system in your body is operating under stress. You've likely burned thousands of calories. You've lost fluids through sweat. Your muscles are inflamed and your joints are sore. Your feet may feel like they're on fire. Research on 24-hour endurance events has documented decreases in body mass, dehydration, immune system changes, cardiovascular strain, and significant overall physiological stress. Even highly trained athletes experience these effects. Then finally, after 24 straight hours, you stop walking? Most people imagine this as the moment everything gets better. Ironically, it can be the moment everything gets worse. During the walk, your muscles remained active and warm. Once you stop, stiffness begins setting in, as blood pools in tired tissues. Swollen feet suddenly become far more noticeable. Tight muscles start locking up. Many endurance athletes report that sitting down after an extreme event feels amazing for a few minutes. Then they try standing back up. That's when the pain really arrives. Fortunately, for most healthy individuals, walking for 24 hours is unlikely to be fatal. With adequate hydration, nutrition, and favorable conditions, the human body is capable of astonishing endurance. But as you've seen, that doesn't mean it comes without consequences. So could you walk for an entire day without stopping? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.